So basically, what I've been doing is I've been talking to people, interviewing them, trying to show people in Ghana that it's really just hard work and determination that gets you where you are, right? And so that's kind of why I added a thought of you because Twist is a place that's been open for a long time and people are always coming in, right? New clubs open up, you hear about them opening up all the time, and somehow you guys still manage to be the top club. So I guess if you could kind of just give us a little bit of background about yourself and how you got into this business.
Cool. Yeah, so I left Ghana when I was younger, much younger, right? And then I moved to Nigeria for like 3 years or something, 3.5 years. And went to school there, then I came to Ghana for a couple of months and then moved to England. And then I went to the States for uni, right? And then I went to Temple. I graduated Temple with a systems engineering degree, IT. So I'm sort of like a geek, really. Right? So I never really worked in the nightclub industry. So fast forward 2009, was it? I came to Ghana, late 2009, I came to Ghana, paid a visit. I worked at a company called ThoughtWorks in Chicago. I was a systems engineer, and we built dev environments and stuff. So that's what I did for the company. I was building dev environments and tech support and all that good stuff. And then I ran the Cisco CCM code manager and stuff like that. But then I came to Ghana on a holiday. I think it was Christmas or something. Well, we call it vacation or something. And stayed for a week or two or something. And I went back to the States, and I came back. And my move to Ghana was not planned as a permanent move. It was just supposed to be like a visit. I just never went back.
Okay.
Right. So I stayed. So that's like my background in terms of my process up until me coming back to Ghana.
Okay.
In a nutshell.
What made you decide to stay, and how did you transition from being in IT to the club scene?
Okay, so when I came back to Ghana, I spoke to a lot of people. I had a couple of friends from back then, a couple of friends that I met through family, a couple of friends that I met through friends. And what I realized was a lot of people had time, man. They had time. Like 2 o'clock in the afternoon, a guy says he's on a lunch break. His lunch break's like an hour and a half. 2 hours. My mom had this restaurant, this place called Headlines Hospitality. Mm-hmm. That's where the initial Twist was.
Okay.
So, and dudes used to come up and just hang out for like an hour, 2 hours. I'm like, fuck, yeah, they might not have a lot of money, or they did have a lot of money. Either way, they had time. And that's what you don't have back in the States. You just don't have time. Your time was for somebody else. And that's when I had a new definition of what success was.
Okay.
To me, success has a lot to do with being able to manage your own time. For me, because the time is like the most definitive thing that there is, right? Across all planes. So like, they had time. I didn't have time. I made money. I didn't make that much money, but like, I didn't have time. Yeah. My vacation was 14 days. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I was on the clock. I'm sure you understand.
Yeah.
So they had time, yo. So I was like, shit. So that's it. So I started going to this company. I forget the name, and I started building network infrastructures for companies. Okay. For new buildings that just came up, that businesses owned, and I built the network infrastructures for companies. And I used to go to the ministries and this office. I used to go up there and work, right? And I did this contract. I tried working on this contract for about 4 months. It felt like a lifetime to me. And at the end of it all, I made my profit margin was like, I think like $600. Right? And watch this, right? $600. And even that they're trying to beat down. And this was for a dude that I knew, like a dude that I knew for. I'm not gonna mention the company's name, but everybody knows the company. And it was so funny, and they were like, "Oh, it's too expensive." So someone else won the bid, and someone else won the bid, right?
Yeah.
And a month into it, they called me back and said they wanted my design instead because it didn't work.
Yeah.
And I was like, nah, you know what? It's not worth it. And my brother Raid had this lounge just called Twist with my mom. But, you know, he was the face and stuff, and he had been doing it for years, so I can't even take credit for that. He started it. It was their concept. It was their own thing. So I said, "Ah, cool. I'll just help in the meantime, you know." And at that time, my brother had stopped doing Twist. He owned a company with another guy, I Create or something.
Yeah.
Right. So they were doing advertising, bingo, advertising. So digital advertising or something like that, right? It was
traditional advertising.
It was traditional advertising. So anyway, so I took on this project. So Twist was just more like a hobby. But the interesting thing about it was the catalyst that started it all off was because there were a whole bunch of clubs at that time. And I'm not sure if it's right to mention the club's name, but there was this one club in 2010 that was supposed to be like hot, right? And I used to go to the club. And what got me was I didn't have a good time in the club, even though everyone else was having a good time. So it could be a cultural thing, right? Yeah. So I'm exposed to Western life or whatever, and I come back and I'm like, oh, you know, but everyone had a good time. But what I never got about the club was there was no demographic that it focused on. It just focused on money. You know, it was more like, for me, it was more like, as long as you had money, it was cool. As long as you were spending a lot of money, it was cool. But there was no demographic. So it's like, you saw like an older dude who had disposable income, just taking on all the young girls that the younger guy brought. Yeah. Or like, you know, it was just all over the place, but it was just about money. So I was like, nah, you know what? Back in New York, you know, we used to go to 10 June, we used to go to, but it was a focused demographic. So there wasn't any place where a young up-and-coming guy could go, spend a decent amount of money, not anything extravagant, and treated like a king, and treated well, and you know. So I was like, all right, cool. My mom's got this thing called Twist, so let me go help out. So I started helping out, you know, and that's how I got in the Twist, the whole idea of running. It wasn't in the club. Okay. You know, it was a lounge. I guess you could call it a lounge. It was a place where people it was really relaxed. I remember like people used to come in and plug in their own iPods. Okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. And the amp, even the system was the amp. I remember back when I was growing up, it was an amp in the living room that I guess my brother and my mom pulled out from the living room in our own house. Yeah. And connected in there. So the bookshelf speakers and stuff like that.
What was that first year like when you were working at the club, and what did you see or that made you working there that made you see a bigger picture or a bigger vision for Twist?
Well, initially I never had a bigger picture. I remember always telling friends of mine, oh, this is just a side gig because I'm never going to build a house from this. Okay. You know, so I wanted to set up a place where I could have fun and my friends could have fun. And it was the ambiance, you know, the ambiance and the energy, the crescendo that built up over time as the night went along was something that we could all relate to. So it was, the agenda initially was I never thought of making it what it just grew. And when we started, when I started, I remember I used to run with my mom, right? And I increased everyone's pay on day one, you know. I was like, you haven't even looked at the books, you don't even know, you know what I mean? I increased everyone's pay. I'm like, it's ridiculous, you can't expect, you know. I increased everyone's pay and we made a loss. We made a loss for 21 months. And I paid every single staff for my savings in America. My Bank of America card, you know, like, you know, and I paid everybody for my savings from my other job, and that's how I sustained the lounge for 21 months. And my mom was like, screw it, fuck it, you know, I'm not sure if I can use fuck.
Nah, it's fine.
All right, cool. Mom was like, hey, all right, cool. You know something? This thing's gonna go to the ground. You know, you have it. Buy me out. I'll run the kitchen. You run the club.
Okay.
You can own it. And that was it. So at that time, I had freehold. I knew I could do, and I owned the business. So that was when we put everything on paper and stuff like that. And so that's that was the genesis. That at that point where my mom was like, okay, cool, hands off. You do it the way you want, because there's a lot of conflict. Mom and I will conflict a lot because she's like me. So it's like she's strong in her ways and I'm strong in my ways, and we conflict. But it was all love. It was all cool.
Yeah.
You know. So she's like, all right, cool. You have it. You do this. You just these are the agreements. Let's agree in terms. And boom, and that was it. And I started that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's when I had full reign.
A lot of people would have given up in those 21 months. What was it that made you keeping on?
Okay, cool. So in the West, you have a lot of people who own clubs in transit locations. So say you take New York, you take a place like Tenju, you take a place like Ave, you take a place like Park. And these are names of places I'm mentioning because that I'm calling out because I know and I used to go to.
Yeah.
So you might have an owner who's in the background, and you have a face. So you can have a financial institution or a guy who's acting as a fund, backing it up, right?
Yeah.
But you have a face that owns the business, and that face is the one that draws the relation to the clientele and brings them in. For me, it was it's this. It's like my product. In every business, is a product, right? So let's assume if I sell shoes, the shoes is my product, right? My product is entertainment. It's not money. I'm not in banking. I'm not in finance. If I'm in finance, my product will be money, right? And yields and returns. My product is entertainment, right? So until I have you entertained, you don't have the full product. So if I focus on the product, the money will come. See, but a lot of people, and I never figured this out before until later on. A lot of people, but because I didn't go into business for money, my mindset and approach is completely different. I wasn't a pen pusher. I wasn't penny pinching and stuff like that. So it didn't matter if I was making a loss because I'm here trying to build network infrastructures, and I have this place that my boys can hang out.
Yeah.
If I'm losing $1,000 a month on it, I could write that off as entertainment expense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was never. It was never a business decision.
Okay.
I never made the move, bingo, as a business decision. So for me, the entertainment value was the product. I remember I used to buy bottles of champagne and give it out for free. And concerts, I used to order them. And we started from such a small, beginning to what we are now. So it's crazy. It's crazy to think the growth. So that was the reason why. I think that was the reason why I stayed in so long, because even if I wasn't making money, I saw that while I was having fun. So it was all about the entertainment for me. So if I focused on my product was entertainment, everything else followed. So the primary reason was entertainment.
Okay. Speaking of faces of bars and stuff, a lot of people say, they go to Twist because of you. Now,
I think so.
no, a lot of people say. I mean, they come to Twist because of you. I've actually heard a few people say that.
I'll take that.
Right.
Cool.
The question is, to do what you do, you have to be social.
Right.
Right. Have you always been a social person and been able to interact, or is that something you had to learn? And also, what was it like when you were learning the business while trying to run at the same time?
Well, I never really learned the business, right?
Okay.
I was just myself.
Okay.
I'm not really a businessman. I'm just I'm just myself, you know.
Okay.
I come to the club, I drink, I have fun, and I go home.
Okay.
It's not and I speak to people, and I guess from your point, it's me entertaining or hosting people, but I've never looked at it like that.
Okay.
It's just me, so it's not. I've been extremely lucky to come as far as we have, and so that I can't answer. I don't know. It's not. I never had to learn it. I just want to hang out with people, so we hang out, and it's just worked out.
Okay. Let me try to rephrase it. You probably might not be able to answer this one as well. What nightclubs are always popping up?
Right.
How come you guys always stay open when other nightclubs keep going out of business?
I don't know, man. You're lucky. I don't know.
It can't all be luck. They say the harder you work, the luckier you are.
Well. Here's the thing, right? So, a friend of mine goes to a nightclub up the street from me, not too far away, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's packed up, right? And he comes and he goes, oh, it's whack. I'm not having a good time. This is where I want to be. So I go, how can it be packed and you call it whack? It can't be packed and you call it whack. It's just not for you. See, you can't go to a nightclub that's full and everyone's having fun and you say it's whack. It's just not for you. So if you find what's for you, then you stay there or you go there. You know, a lot of people think, oh, a nightclub's whack. A nightclub's not whack if it's full and packed with people.
Okay.
There's nothing like whack. It's just not designed for you. So you need to find a place that suits your needs. You know what I mean? And for me, I've always focused on. Look, I went on a lot. When I was in Temple in Philly, I went on clubbing. When I was in England, London. Back in the day, it was Hanover Grand, Sea Kills, you know, SW1. Temple, Coliseum, you know, so all these places, Colts Wine Bar. So these were the places I was hanging out in the 90s, right? And then 2000s when I was in Philly, you know, Blue Martini, what's this other one? Glam in Old Street, in Old City in Philadelphia. It's a whole bunch of clubs that we used to go to. And then I went to Chicago, Level, Colts Wine Bar, Underground. You know, and on every level, in every city, I interacted with the owners. No, not the owners, like the promoters, the guys' faces, the managers and stuff. I knew all of them. And I enjoyed it, and I went out a lot. In Chicago, I went out a lot, yo. And when I briefly moved to New York, same thing. So for me, I just wanted what I had over there. Yeah. Okay. Now, of course, it's not probably up to some might say it's not, but we're trying, we're working, you know.
Yeah.
So. Okay. So that's it. But I don't know why we've been able to. I guess part of it is also because I started this thing up really organically. So unlike a lot of places who just start big, say MC Hammer, right? Mm-hmm. He comes out, you can't touch this. Mm-hmm. He had no core following, right? And he just comes the mad hit, you can't touch it, you know? And everyone's just dancing to it. But he has no loyalty. Yeah. It's just the track. The song, it's not the artist, right? It's the track. Then he comes aboard, too legit, right? But after that, boom, nothing, right? So you have no allegiance to MC Hammer. You have an allegiance to the song, but not the artist, right? But because we started so organically, and we morphed the business to move with the clientele, I think that has helped a lot. So we started really small. We don't advertise, if that. I mean, we're on Instagram, which we just got on a couple of, recently. Yeah. You're aware of that. And we don't do a lot of things that just put us in the public, So so we've really controlled our awareness. So perhaps that's helped a bit. So yeah, and I'm very hands-on. You know what I mean? Like I'm not in a club like a club owner. Like you don't see me in a club in a suit hanging out. I wear this top or I wear another top, but I'm always in black. I just wear the same damn thing. And I'm working. Yeah. I'm because it's my job. I'm here to serve. So I think that has helped a lot because the work is here. The work is here. Cannot deliver what I'm looking for without having an experience of what I'm looking for. So if I've got an experience of what I'm looking for, I need to display that for them to see what I'm looking for. It's not about training. It's about executing. It's about being in it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I'm in the field, though. Like we're on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know, and the support that we have from the grassroots, from the bottom to the top, it's been so great. So we've been extremely blessed, man. You know. So yeah, it's crazy.
What has been the hardest part of running a club and running a club in Ghana?
For me, the most difficult challenges I've had are from the business side of things, are stock and stuff like that. Keeping the consistency and stuff like. There are times you can't even get Verve to come, or there are times you can't even get. I remember when the supply of syrup only gave us one flavor, right? And you had coconut, you had pineapple, and they didn't have it. And they said, "Oh, this is the market." You know, people are under the assumption that these people don't need the original. Like, they don't need this, they don't need this. So I had to go to the States now to bring in stuff myself. And that was challenging because my money gets tied up, you know, and stuff like that. So that's difficult. From the entertainment part, from the club part, it's difficult with when you have disturbances like fights. It's difficult because most of the time we don't have that much fights, but most of the times if there's an incident, we're not disconnected from each other. We all know each other. It's the same pool of people that we're all tapping from. So it's difficult because, like, it's challenging because then you don't want them to come to the club, and then you talk to them, and then they're your people, and you let them in, and the other clients don't want them in there, you know. So it's a difficult balance, you know.
Yeah.
So sometimes you go back and you're like, man, is this all worth it? Because people just get silly, you know. Everyone in Ghana thinks they're a boss, you know what I mean? Everyone wants to be a boss, you know, and that's the funniest thing ever, you know. Like, it's crazy for me to say. You have people who come here all the time and have a good time. And you've got one or two characters who always want to be a boss. You know what I mean? So, and it's difficult. And you sit back and you say to yourself, like, what about everyone else? Like, you know, and for me, that's the difficult part. Because it's not about just saying, don't come to the club. It's not about that. Because I want us all to be together and have a good time. You know what I mean? So that's, for me, that's one of the most challenging things.
So the whole idea for this is to show people that they can also do stuff if they put their minds to it, right? So do you have any pieces of advice for people who want to start their own business or, you know, make some money on the side, or, you know?
Well, in the beginning you asked me a question and I told you, for me, my definition of success is being able to control your own time, right?
Yeah.
So if time is the most valuable, you know, thing or whatever, then for me, I'm successful because I control my own time to a degree. You know, it's got my family time and all that good stuff, but I control my own time. You control your own time. So there's not a lot of people. I mean, you have your own time. It's a good time, you know.
Yeah.
I think perseverance goes without saying. It's just hanging in there and riding the wave. A lot of people go into stuff and they have the idea that, okay, I've drawn it on paper, I've done the numbers on paper, it adds up. You know, I never did no paperwork, huh? I never did no, you know, balances and balance sheet and nothing. I just went in.
Yeah.
So when they don't get the returns that they expect, you know, if you're about financing numbers, then hey, it's smart to jump out. But you see, when passion is applied, it's different. There is no definitive answer to that, because I can't tell you to pull out. For instance, when I was making a loss, I was still happy. How would you make a loss and still be happy? I'm not happy making a loss, but I was happy during the time. I found I made a loss later, but I was happy. So it's difficult to tell people, oh, just hanging there, well, otherwise you're losing money. Just hanging there. No, it's decide what you want to do that makes you, right? And that makes it easier when things aren't going the way you expect them to, because it's not a lot of work to do what you love to do. It's only a lot of work when you don't like what you're doing. You know what I mean? So if you want to do something on the side, you do something on the side, but find out what it is that you do that comes naturally to you, and see how you can exploit that natural ability, and perhaps that can yield some profit.
Yeah. There's a quote that says, do what you would do even if you knew it would fail. Right?
Look at that.
Yeah, so
I like that. I like that. So yeah, you know. So if our journey, what, 6 years, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. I mean, to think, I remember when we used to order a bottle of Jack Daniels a week, or a bottle of Hennessy a week, and 2 months Brutes, you know. And the supplier would say, yo, Eric, you know, I can't deliver this quantity to you because it's not enough. And I understood where it came from, you know. Like, I'm like, dude, I'm not trying to mention the supply, but if you're in the industry, you probably know the supply. So they used to drop my orders at another club, and I used to take the taxi to meet the delivery company to pick it up, because I didn't have the numbers that justified the logistics, the cost of logistics over to me, you know. And now it's a different ballgame, you know. So if the value of Twist was 1 6 years ago, and the value of Twist today is 8, I'm using an arbitrary number, whatever, right? That gap, that distance between 1 and 8, the story's massive. It's massive. It's crazy, and it's only when you look back on it, for me anyway, that, you know, even the location, you know, what we went through to even build the new club. It's taking court, litigation, financial issues, you know. I was practically broke. So it's but I hung in there, you know. I was like, yo, I'm gonna do it, you know. And the budgeted amount was over 3 times when I was done, but I was still smiling. You know what I mean? So it's man, it's crazy.
Last question. If you could talk to yourself 6 years ago and what you know now, what would you tell yourself?
Go ahead, kid. Yeah. I'll just if 6 years ago, if I knew I'd be here, I'd be like, dude, go ahead, kid. I mean, that's it. That's what I'll say. I'll be like, yeah. But if you said, did I see this? No. Did I, in the beginning, did I hope to have a better play? Yes, absolutely. Did I work towards that? Absolutely. Did I think that my path would primarily focus on the entertainment? No. I just did this in the interim because I got $600 for freaking gig that I worked for 4 months.
That's how it all started.
Right, man. I'm telling you, man. If all fails, man, there's cranberry and vodka. You know? If all fails, there's cranberry and vodka and a splash of lime. And that's cool. That does the job, man. Numbs the stuff for me. So that's it, bro.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, boss.